All right, right here. So we're going to talk about gripping. We're going to talk about removing. First, I'm going to talk about removing grips, and we can talk a little bit about other things. But the first thing, okay? So the first thing is just keeping grips off is the most important thing, right? So she reaches, her options to grab, it's like lapel, neck, hands, a little of each, all of this stuff, right? So she reaches for that. First is distance and redirection, okay? So that's what all of your, that was sotuke, right? She reaches, I got uchuke, right? If I want to move below it as she reaches, I can ageuke, right? If she reaches low, then that's where I can geidanuke. Does that make sense? So first is if they don't get grips on you, that's good. If I come to the inside, okay, I can come into here and start to control her instead. Frames are important, okay? So it's hard to collapse this bone. So if I can put this between me and you, then I can create a lot of things that stop things, okay? So this is the kind of thing that I can get to, right? So moving, so first for the little bit, we're just gonna warm up with this idea of trying to get grips on each other. Using movement to change. My goal is to get to here. Okay? All right, so let's grab a partner, let's work with that a little bit, and we're just gonna warm up this way. So now looking at first this idea of I get the lapel grab and I've got my options to hit and things like this. Before I can do much, I need to manage this, right? This grip. Part of it is keeping me from getting away. Part of it is keeping me from coming in, right? So I can use it to push, I can use it to pull, I can do a lot of things there, right? So if she grabs, which one can you grab? Let's find out. We'll go with this one, okay? So she's grabbing a hold of this. Where we're gonna start is just putting hands, I guess. I wanna point something out. We're gonna work on grip removal, but I wanna point something out. If she can touch me, I can touch her, right? So some of my options are I just hit you. Yeah, makes sense? So I've got all this stuff. But right now, let's go, but I need this off of here. So I'm gonna take like this, okay? I'm gonna come in underneath, and I'm going to move back while pushing out, like that, okay? So it's not just hands, I'm not just going here, and I'm not just going here. It's both things. Right? Does that make sense? So I grab, she gets both hands in, steps.
So it's here?
It can be, or it can just be that. Yeah. Good. Again. That's it. Yeah. This is a little bit unfun, and I apologize in advance. A little bit unfun, and I apologize in advance because grabbing onto gis and then getting your hands ripped off of them, your fingers are going to get tingly because you're going to kind of, you develop blisters and stuff doing this. You develop calluses and stuff too. So get that sturdy grip, cut at the grip. Okay? So do we want to try this for a second? So we're just going to go with a single lapel grab, two hands, we'll call this 2-on-1, step back, rip off. All right, let's try. So now looking at wrist grabs. Okay, so this is a place that can happen. This is obviously a place that can happen. It's kind of in the same vein. You're just going to move away from it, right? If she hooks into here, same idea. See how that's kind of the same thing? So when she grabs the gi, things that I'm thinking about is try not to be out here where I'm not really affecting the grip. I'm trying to be on the grip if I can. And then if I can, I also want to shoot towards the opening. If I pull in, I'm actually helping her hook into that. And instead, I want to, right? So just pulling towards that opening. We kind of talked about that a little bit. So now there's a couple different ways. I mean, if I grab her wrist here, right? Or if her hand is high, grab here, right? So am I her hand up or her hand down? Okay, does that make sense? I got two different ways that can happen. So let's talk about the way grips happen in my opinion, right? It's not very often that people come up and go, it's just not typically the way that goes. There are two ways that I think are the primary ways you get grabbed around the wrist specifically. The first is if someone is not done talking to you. Okay? We're talking, she decides to leave, and I go, we're not done. Right? Which kind of puts this in this, and that's a weird thing, because when we train wrist grabs, we tend to do them facing. It's not always the way that goes, right? She starts to leave, and I go, hey, is she facing me now? Are all those options available right now? No, right? The other way, and the way that you're going to find when you're sparring and doing things like that, and especially, fighting or doing whatever, is if she's trying to grab, we'll kind of do that gripping, collaring kind of stuff, right? I might do this to stop her from doing that, right? She goes to hit or grab, or even maybe she's even trying to reach into her own pockets to grab something. I might try to control that. And now we got a wrist grab. Okay? It's typically motivated by something. I find it very unlikely that people go, cool. I find this one even less likely, but it does happen. If you've got somebody who's hitting you or doing whatever, and I find this especially in a domestic situation, right? Domestic, for you guys being the idea of like this is your sister, your mom, your dad, you're somebody who you really don't actually want to hurt them, but you really need them to stop. Then one of the things that might happen, and this is a natural thing, is to try to, she's hitting and doing stuff, I might just try to make that stop, and that's when I end up here, right? Because I can't just stop this one because that one keeps working, right? So I grab both. I mean, I have options, but if this is a person I don't want to do that to, then that doesn't really work too good, right? So we kind of end up in that. So looking at these two grips, we've got this grip. Let's see, let's open for now. We'll kind of start here. We got this grip here and this grip here. We'll go same hand. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's the same in either case. I'm just kind of opening it up so you guys can see. So notice her grip is the same. Close your hand. That's her grip. Okay? If my hand is low, it looks like that. I go. If my hand is high, it looks like that. Her grip is the same. Okay? It's where I am. Yeah, it'd be hard for her to do the opposite in either case. So first, we'll look at if she grabs low. Okay? Going to C-clamp here. I'm going to circle here. Okay? So I just come out. As I come out, I bring this into alignment here. And then I push away. Okay? So when you're working with someone who is consensual, they're not resisting, they're working with you, then you can kind of just go like this. Right? If somebody really wants that, then doing this might be really difficult. So you have to kind of move and put some weight into it. Okay? So just circle and out. Yeah? Okay? I'm going to go ahead and give you both and we'll work both. So the other is here. Is this what we just did? Yeah, here. Okay? We'll change places because, like I said, it works regardless of which one that she does, but since she's doing this hand, I'm going to show this way. So in this case, the circle, if I go to circle, she might have some control to keep me from doing that. Right? So instead, here, I'm going to bring in this other hand. I'm going to take this high and this down. Okay? So, just here. So we have this. She grabs 1. She grabs low. 2. She grabs high. See, I want to try to do it. Here. Okay? So now my options can be to go up in this or back in this, where I'm kind of here. Kind of depends on what's happening, right? Where you end up next is an important component because it determines what you do next. Yeah? We ready to try that? So there's some up and down. Okay? I want to be like palm up, palm down, but the palm doesn't change. It's the same. I guess I could be my palm up, palm down. So palm up, she does this. Palm down, we do this. Okay, so it'll be my palm, not her palm. Palm up, palm down. All right, let's try. Okay, let's change. So let's look. So what have we seen so far? We've seen the lapel grip removal. Go ahead. Okay, which is also falling in line with this grip removal. Right? We've seen if the hand is, if you're above their hand, sorry, they're above your hand. here, okay? And we've seen in here. Good. Now, this time I want to make that a little better. Angle this way, right? Because as you angle, what happens as she angles this way?
It's harder to hit the wrist.
Bingo. It's harder to get that wrist involved because her own arm becomes in the way. So she comes over here, and now it's a lot easier. Yeah, yeah. And making sure you choose the right angle. Yeah? So you need to be at the right angle. Okay, so we have these basic ideas. Now, her and I were looking at, there is a, so I'm in here. There are different things that I can do, pulling down, things like that. So the next script that I want to work is if we'll start from a rear kind of bear hug, but a low bear hug. So she's grabbing in here, right? Which is a thing that can happen. I'm going to come in, palms in. I'm going to drop down, right? Now this may or may not release the grip. So go ahead and grip as tight as you want to do, right? I'm going to come in and work. We're going to push down, okay? So see how she's not losing her grip, but she's lost her grip, right? It's not as strong as it was. It's not open, but it's not as strong. So when I break this here, that gives me space. Now I can open here. And we're going to work into takedown here. Okay? If I can get it, obviously I want that. If she comes into here, if I can get that open, that's even better. Because then this is a whole lot easier. Right? So I'm going to move in and get behind. One thing to think about, in some of the katas, we have these. Right? These kinds of things. So if she grabs like that, one of the things that she might want to do is pick me up, right? Throw me down, something like that. So now I can go. Now I can go, right? Does that make sense? Kind of catching that? Okay, so sometimes go to lift each other up. If you feel that lift, go. You don't necessarily want to go to one leg right away, because if they're just trying to tip you, having two legs is helpful, right? But if you start to feel that pull, you can just wrap around. Does that make sense? Then weight down, straight arms. Okay? Step back, grab the inside of the knee. If you're here, so go ahead here. Dropping, coming in. See the pressure? I'm pushing her across my knee, and I'm lifting this up. I can lift from behind, or I can lift from here. And I'm turning with it. Yeah? Yeah, so we're not really looking at atemis, but absolutely. I mean, there's lots of things. Right? I mean, I can scrape the shins, I can stomp the instep, I can possibly just be working elbows. If she's grabbing low, like that's there. But here's the deal, okay? Straight with me. When someone grabs low, they're usually trying to move you. So some of those headbutts and things like that are hard to do in motion. If they just grab you, just be like, yes. Like whatever you want to do. You make a dance out of it, you do whatever you want. Okay? But usually it's like, okay, I don't want that. I want this. You need to pick up, move around. All right? Let's grab partner, let's go. Okay, so I don't want you to think too much about the thumbs when you do this, because when you come in, it can be hard. Like you can get that thumb worked in, but that's a lot of pressure for you on just your thumbs, right? You got all of this meat connected to all of this bone. So as I said in here, she'll tell you it's not this that she's feeling, it's this, right? She's feeling this happening, okay? Now, I can choose, I can go to just one, right, from the top, or I can go from one to the bottom, right? If I just need to, pushing in here, I want to make sure that I'm not coming in and bending my arms and then trying to figure out how to do this, right? So I create straight posture, okay, locking good, and create straight posture, and I push like I'm just trying to slide my hands down my knees. Okay, now I stay close. If I've got hold, if it broke, then usually I'll take this. See how that keeps her close to me? I do most of the work right here, right? So when you're doing this, think here. Recognize that you don't need to use just your thumbs. And the more you use the thumbs, the more you change where your grip is. If I use my thumbs, then if I have a grip, my grip's actually under, right? So instead, I'm just kind of wedging and pushing, right? Here. Same thing works, so now we'll add into it the idea of now with the arms in, okay? So arms in. Here, let me trade with Roy. We'll get some long arm action. Yes. Okay. So here, same thing. I don't want to think about like gripping, that kind of stuff. This is pinned, right? But I also don't want to think about just kind of squashing myself in. I want to think about creating structure. Okay, see all that space? That's what I'm looking for. Right? So, same idea here. Obviously, the best thing is to do it before he clamps in tight, right? But I like to work from failure. I didn't get it. It's clamped in tight. Being able to just go, well, I'll just work this out or that out. No, and like maybe I'll just do this. Probably not, right? So instead, squat down, extend out. And I just want to think like a big balloon's opening. Right? Okay, there's the action. Once I have this structure, now if I can keep that space away, I can start to move inside of it. Right? So together, it goes. And then the same one. I want 3. But the same idea. I can still move behind, go here. So we're doing the same motion twice. 1, in this case, I'm adding a little bit of this action before I do that action. Does that make sense? The frame is important. If I do this, and I go, create a frame, and then I get rid of my frame, then he's just gonna re-cinch, and then I gotta do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. So, out. There's the space. Now I can hit, right? Makes sense? Okay. Monkey grabs the peach. All right, cool. So let's record what we did. Okay, so Sue, so you were here. Gonna line up. Now we'll face this way. Just creating a little bit of space. Okay? So let's look at what we did today. So first, got a hold of the neck, pushed it down. Okay? Then we came from a grip underneath here. Okay? Then we came from a grip over top here. Okay? If we reverse that and do the other side, here, here, right? Then this. Okay, does that make sense? Then we'll just, maybe we need to throw them that way. Okay, so we'll look at this. Down, now we circle out, here, okay, here, here, good. In, out, there's our structure, right? Now come in here. So, tie grip, right? 1, I come here. She gets a hand on that. Okay. So you get a hand on my hand to grab. Yeah, and I come here, right? She's got that grip. I come this way. She gets behind me. She moves behind and takes. I've got this. Right? Does that make sense? And then something that I showed her a second ago is she was doing a really good job of going, I'm going to do this before you get there. Okay? Okay? So recognize that the situation isn't magic. Things can change. So let's do it again. So we start with that grip, that clinch. Okay? We circle out. So and I want you to see it, right? As I come down, now my hand is low, so it could be grabbed low. And this is not could as in like this is a sequence of things that'll happen. This is a memory. It's a mnemonic device. So I start by going, okay, put the head down. My hand is already low, so if I was dealing with a low grip, I would do this. My hand is high. If I was dealing with a high grip, I would do this. Okay? I work that on the other side. Hand low, here, here. Okay? Around the belly, here. Okay? Here. Here. Good. So let's look at those grips again. I'm going to face you while we do it. Okay, so clinch and press. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and choose my right hand first. Right hand is grabbed. I do my circle. I open. Okay, my right hand gets grabbed. Okay, left hand gets grabbed. Circle. Good. Left hand gets grabbed. Here. Okay. Down the center. Here. And then we're back. Okay? So there's a way to remember what we did tonight. And practice it on your own when you don't have a partner.